Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. Sorry I haven't recorded in a bit. My voice was pretty bad, so it was better just to keep my thoughts to myself. And I have a lot of thoughts. Look at the tree. I wanted to record it kind of day by day, but that's just not going to happen. It's definitely not the tree it once was. But the beauty is it's going to come back all the better. Yes, we're entering fall. Matter of fact, we're already in fall. The seasons have switched. Mind you, our calendar days have very little to do with what nature is doing. Nobody told the tree, hey, it's fall. It's time for your leaves to start turning color. It's time for them to drop off. Nobody told the tree. It has its own rhythms. I can remember years ago, we had a couple early winters and they were darn near killing the trees because the snow and the ice was coming that early. Now things are back to a more balanced seasonal split. That doesn't happen quite as much. The trees get their chance to get naked and we get a chance to rake the leaves up. Nature has its own rhythm. As much as we try to codify it and put our stamp on it and say, this is the first day of fall, that's a human construct. The calendar in general is a human construct. I mean, nature doesn't like to do things outside of pairs and triplets usually. Yet we have 7 days in a week, 52 weeks in a year. These are all strange numbers. But that's because humanity has monkeyed with the calendar so many times and for so many reasons. Well, let's just look at a couple. Julius Caesar decided that he was going to change the calendar because it no longer matched the seasons. And when he did that, he took a day off February, added it to July, named after Julius, and he decided that was good. His adopted son, Octavian, sometimes known as Augustus, actually very frequently known as Augustus, well, the calendar had already gone out by the time Augustus was ruler. And Augustus ruled very shortly after Julius Caesar. So, Augustus did the same thing. He took the month of August by Augury August, and he added another day from February, just to show he made his mark on the calendar. This went on for a couple centuries until Pope Gregory decided he was going to change the calendar again because it wasn't matching up with the seasons, the festivals, and yeah, it was a nightmare. Now I ask you, without meaning in any way, shape, or form to put a bad word in for climate scientists, because they work hard. As much as I dispute what they do and they say, we agree on don't pollute the earth. There's no arguing that. But also, I think what they haven't looked at is the possibility that some seasons seem different is because the calendar is not aligned properly. Everyone says, oh, spring gets here too early, summer lasts too long, fall, we never know anything about it. This sounds an awful lot like someone has their dates wrong. And maybe a calendar switch would do a lot to go put things back to normal. It has been a few centuries after all. And as smart as medieval mathematicians and scientists were, they probably didn't anticipate, hey, in 400 years, I better worry about this thing happening because it might happen. No, they were thinking, I fixed it for now. Good job. Everybody take a day from February and go home. See, voice is still not perfect. And I don't hear anybody talking about this solution. As Occam's razor states, the simplest solution is usually the best solution. But no, we spend millions, if not billions of dollars into climate studies, which nobody, and I mean nobody, has come up to with a satisfying methodology to implement. Back, was it in the late 80s, early 90s? They decided that they were going to cut carbon monoxide out of the air. So we went from leaded gas to unleaded gas. This worked. It did a good job. Carbon monoxide is almost a thing of the past. It's still a bit of a danger if you have a propane heater or something like that, or natural gas. But overall, carbon monoxide being a problem is really a thing of the past. But what it did do is it forced our cars into making more carbon dioxide. Now, carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. And we just switched all of our cars over to a greenhouse gas for trying to prevent some poisoning. I think it would have been better to just simply use a filter, use a simple add-on piece of technology to scrub the carbon monoxide out. And if we can't do that, then maybe we should have thought of a way to re-engineer engines so that gasoline wasn't what we were burning. The problem is, it always will be. They're trying to move us towards these pollution-free cars, except it's going to cause another problem. If we go to electrical cars, right now, I hate to tell you, there's hydroelectric, which damages the wildlife in the area. There's coal-fired plants to generate electricity, yet you're burning coal, and even though we can scrub that out, it's still emitting pollutants into the atmosphere. Fuel oil, generating electricity, which is again burning oil, producing carbon products to go into the air. Or nuclear, which is actually safer than a lot of people believe. But unfortunately, with Fukushima, 3 Mile Island, and Chernobyl, people are very wary about operating nuclear reactors. Now, there is hope with fusion energy. There is hope with newer models of fission reactors. But it's always, this technology is 20 years away. And in the meantime, while this technology is 20 years away, you have to buy the car with the batteries in it. And I would love to know why battery technology is not evolving. Every year or so, they announce a new breakthrough. Oh, yes, we got new batteries. They're half the thickness. They're twice as good and blah, blah, blah. But we don't see that. We still get our AA's, AAA's, and car batteries, which are basically the same as they've been for nearly 100 years now. Makes zero sense. So what are we wasting all of our money on carbon dioxide and other environmental studies? Everybody agrees. Even people who do not agree with the studies agree that we need to clean the planet up. Let's focus on what we can all agree on and what's going to do the most good. Cleaning up the planet. Why is this so hard? Why has it gotten worse? Well, the good news is it has gotten a little better. The ozone holes in the Arctic and the Antarctic are cleaning. They are being filled back in. Every year they get a little more closed. This shows it's possible for us to make massive changes by making minor changes. I will tell you that CFCs are still being produced, and you can get them if you know the right people. You can't ship them, you can't buy them, but you can get them. One of those weird magical items. Because they do have research applications and they do have very limited refrigerant applications. So there's still going to be CFCs probably till the end of time, but we're not like back in the 1950s where to drain the system, they would literally unplug it, listen to the noise come out of it until it stopped, then put fresh stuff in and go from there. Yes, we are better. The one thing I notice, humans still do to this day, and this annoys me greatly, throwing their garbage out of their car windows, especially full fast food bags. I can appreciate there's something in your car you don't want in your car, you want to get rid of it as soon as possible, but let me put it this way. Throwing a donut out because you don't want to eat it, okay, so you're giving the squirrels a sugar rush. Don't care. Throwing a box of donuts out, even though it's paper, it's still going to stick around and probably wind up on somebody's lawn. If not, it's going to wind up in somebody's waterway. Plastic. My goodness, where do I start on plastic? Survivor Man had a whole show and he pretty much couldn't go anywhere in the world without finding plastic, to say nothing of the other crazy things that he found. Now, I know a little bit about local disposal, and they generally tend to bury it. But as a species, we're not inclined to bring it back to where it can be safely buried. Why is this so hard? Your car will go to your house at some point, and if not, it's going to go to somebody else's house who probably wouldn't mind you throwing out something in their trash. Or if you're staying at a hotel or whatever you might be staying at, they have the facilities to handle that there. There's no reason to throw this crap out the window. And you know what? I live in a court, as you can see. A little key, as some people call it. And the way the wind works in this area, everything winds up on mine and my neighbor's lawn. It's annoying to pick up a McDonald's bag that is darn near full when you don't go to McDonald's. Nothing against McDonald's, I'm not passing judgment, but, the 10-year-old is getting less and less interested in it and more interested in more haute cuisine. I know my parents don't do it when they come over. I know my friends don't do it when they come over. And, yeah, it's not helping my environment. They probably threw it out. There's a major road not too far from here, as is true for probably everybody listening. The fact is, as much as we're trying to control nature with our calendars, nature still controls us. It's going to dump that trash on us, and we've got to clean it up. Even if you live in an apartment, even if you live in some isolated basement where no trash comes through and you think you can get away without repercussions, yeah, there's still repercussions. Because somebody has to clean the major mess up, and they're going to need to be paid. Sadly, Greenpeace may work for free, but they still got to buy their equipment. In these garbage patches and stuff like that where they need to go into, their volunteers will come out, but the volunteers are kind of expecting a hot dog and a coffee. Money still needs to be made, and the garbage patches out in the sea, I don't even know what kind of engineering goes into one of those ships. But I'd imagine they're not one-time purpose-built ships. These things we're probably going to have to send out every 2 to 3 years. Like clockwork, on a calendar schedule, because people don't stop dumping their stuff in the ocean. And I can't point to anybody in specific and say they're doing it, because virtually everybody does it in one way or another. Not necessarily intentionally. Say you have a garbage bin, and you have raccoons like you do in my area. Sometimes the raccoons are just going to win. And they're going to go in and throw your stuff all over, and you're never going to find it all. just that happens. So we all have to accept a little bit of responsibility, and it's not as big as changing the seasons. It's not as big as multiple $1 million studies. It's as simple as picking your stuff up and putting it away properly. And if for some reason you can't do it, you're in the woods or whatever, burn it. And there's a lot of places in the city that you can do that as well, provided you have a properly approved fire area, fire pit. Consult your local regulations. With that, we'd like to thank you for joining the Silverlight Show today. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to buy our new book, Summerland, Another World, the first book in its series. And we hope you have a fantastic day.